what bugs out of me is someone will drunk drive, kill someone, and get 2 years in prison.
They only get 2 years
for manslaughter. You know.
And what was your crime exactly? What did they get you?
For money laundering and wire fraud, I got 3 years.
For $450,000.
$500,000, yeah. But mine was like I went to trial, and I maintained it was an accident. I made stupid decisions. I was ignorant, but I didn't have any ill intent. And look at all the greats like Rogan, Theo Von, all of them, like the big ones that are crushing on YouTube. They don't have intros.
They just go. Chris Williamson, I love where his starts. It just starts. I mean, like then you look at Steven, Diary of a CEO. He has the fancy intro, and I actually paid his editor to do an intro for me. Did it work?
It was like $1,500 for the full episode edit. It was the same. I mean, that retention rate was a little higher, but it's also hard to judge because it was the Hells Angels.
It's a solid podcast.
Solid guest, yeah. But then, you know, I don't know. I just think that I'm just sticking to the basics. I mean, and thumbnails, I don't know if you see my thumbnails.
Yeah, I see you switching in.
Yeah, you know who's doing those thumbnails?
You?
ChatGPT.
You just put in a screenshot?
I have a whole prompt now that I learned through Claude. So about 3-4 months ago, if you asked ChatGPT to make you a thumbnail,
it was the same one.
Image,
everyone has it.
Yeah, or it would change it every time. It wouldn't follow a pattern, or it wouldn't use someone's actual face. It would alter it. Now it does all of that. So what I do is Claude writes my script for me, and I send it to Chat because Claude won't make a thumbnail, but it'll do the design. And I send it to Chat, and Chat makes it. And now I just eliminated the thumbnail team. And these are good thumbnails. I had a call with this guy that Social Media Money recommended me to for thumbnails, and he just like, dude, your thumbnails like look good. They're working. My click-through rate's higher than ever. It's at like 7%. And he's like, I don't really want to take your money to do it, you know? But I don't know. It's working and it looks good. I think it just needs to be individually packaged like that, you know?
Is this all good to keep?
Yeah. I don't know. You can ask me whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, I was really excited to talk to you because I feel like our podcasts, they're like the same, obviously, but different because we both post so much. I try and do 3 to 4. You're doing 5 a week now.
Yeah. Oh, you're doing 3 to 4 episodes a week.
In a perfect world where I don't get pulled away from my computer, I'm just sitting and I'm just editing.
Yeah.
That is my dream, where I could just post an episode, clip out 20 things, post the next episode, clip it out 20 times, do the exact same thing, post it on every platform, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. I try and go everywhere.
But that's a way to do it. And especially your format is you're talking, you're not like stuck in, what is like your niche? What are you calling it?
Everything. It's almost like the Joe Rogan guest of, I want to be able to talk to everybody. And it's been voice actors to reality stars, to musicians, to CEOs, to anybody.
So you have an unlimited pool of people, you're not stuck in that.
I'm not going to run out of just going down this one lane.
And I think most people people get scared of doing multiple episodes, but in a way it's easier because you have more clips. Like if I do 5 episodes a week, I can easily pull 5 or 6 clips from each episode and have enough. The average podcast that does 1 episode a week has to stretch a ton of clips from that. And even then, 1 clip a day, you look at a lot of the podcasts that are doing 1 episodes a week, or they're multiple co-hosts, or they're talk showy. They just can't keep up stamina wise with the clips.
How do you get all your guests?
They come to me now. We have a website where it's built in to be a guest, and there's over 2,000 names on that list right now.
So people just see you and then they subscribe that they want to do it, and then you're hand selecting who you want?
So we'll look for stories, like what are good stories. We'll prioritize people that like reach out in the DM with a good story too. I'm kind of driving away from just addiction stories because I want to look at it as like, does it have a beginning, a middle, and end? With an addiction story where they didn't serve like prison time, it's kind of all over the place. Granted, there are some good addiction stories, but there's also a lot of addiction type podcasts. But where if you have someone that did 20 years in prison, you have their childhood, which is the beginning, then you have the crime, which is like the arc, then the prison sentence, and then getting out and turning their life around. And now I've branched so far into, you have a lot of law enforcement. Most of my episodes are law enforcement now. You have lawyers. Now I'm getting into trauma type stuff like nurses, doctors, therapists, psychologists, because that's all kind of like within the criminal justice brand. So it's so wide versed. If I did just prison all the time, it's repetitive, it's boring. But to counter that too, you also have different people look different. A lot of this business is how you look. Like a guy or a woman that has the look, and looks different, that episode's going to perform better than just like your standard suit and tie guy that sits down and talks about how he had an addiction, you know? It's just the look aspect. You take the Hells Angels ones, those clips just do well. It's the voice, it's the look. You know, I'm sure you see that with some of your guests too.
The way that they present themselves, what they're wearing, how they're dressed, how they're hanging out, if they're not even looking at me when they're telling the story and then they look over and hit it.
Yep. And YouTube, I feel like, detects if the person's being genuine or not.
Yeah, but
or
how?
authentic. I don't know how they do it, but I'll have some episodes where it's a great story. It just doesn't go because it just, something was inauthentic about it or the audience doesn't believe it. But then I have something that's like real, raw, emotional, or you just know it's real and the algorithm pushes that. But it's not like it has a different amount of viewers or whatnot. It just, it detects something in it, you know? I also notice too, when someone tells their story for the first time, when someone's, you know, breaking a story, will always do better. I try to avoid someone that's been on 9 million pods, you know, or I won't like rush them to get in. Because in the crime prison genre, a lot of people go on the same pods. And people ask me too, like if I could go back in time with my story, I would never have done a podcast. And I would have
What
just
about
waited.
Vice? Are you glad you did the Vice story?
Vice was cool, but actually before that I did HBO. It's just not on HBO anymore. But that was like a documentary style as a part of a series.
So you wish you didn't do that?
No, that stuff's cool. But I'm saying the 9 million other pods I've done, like the problem is you have people that you go on their show or they come on your show and they say, will you come on mine? And it's kind of hard to say no, right? But they just don't know how to interview. Like they ask a very open-ended question. Tell me your whole life story. I'm burnt out talking about it, you know? Like sitting down, just say, tell me everything. It's hard, you know? But I think the problem is they think I'm going to be like their golden goose of a story. And I try to tell them I'm not going to be like your million view person. My story's done. You know, like it's been played out. Everyone's heard it, unless it's like a different angle, like what we're talking about now. But like the whole story of me going to prison and prison story, like it's been told. You know, I told on my podcast, I told on theirs. If you want just an episode to have an episode, great. But these individuals are looking for me to promote it and do this and do that. It's already been done. Your blowout episode is going to be something you least expect. Like for me, it was this guy, JD Delay, the tattooed, you know, shirtless guy. He was the one that got me my first 10,000 audio downloads on Spotify or Apple. And then having episodes like a Hells Angels guy or, you know, things of that nature. It's always the ones you don't expect. And it's ones that haven't been blown out, you know? Like how many podcasts has the Dora actress been on?
Not really any.
Which is why it was unique to you. Like when I saw that clip, I was like, this is really interesting, you know?
And that one was so crazy because we met at a party and we were just talking normally. And then 20 minutes in, we figured out like what each other did. And I was like, oh, like you're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're vibing. We should do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt, it was so authentic from the beginning.
I could see like someone like Tim Allen coming on here.
That'd be so cool.
He would be great. I want him too because he went to prison, but I don't know if he talks about it.
He hasn't, I feel like I haven't seen him do any talking, but that's why your show is so good because you can get those people.
Yeah, I mean, I had like, you know, like Teresa Giudice or Bobby Shmurda and stuff like that. But you know what's interesting is the people that do the best are the non-celebrities. You know, it's just people like the real, raw, organic. I got a DM a couple weeks ago from Bert Kreischer. He left me like this wild voice note at like 12 o'clock at night, and I opened it the next morning. And he was like, dude, I got to say, like, in a world of, you know, all of this over-edited corporate shit on it, like, your stuff's real. And I appreciate that, you know? Because when you look on, like, say, my Instagram, it's just, like, real stories from regular people, you know? And, yeah, we've had celebrities before in some episodes, like Todd Chrisley blew up. But that's an example of he was comfortable with me and he hadn't done too many pods, you know? Even Teresa, like, I got her in a different light. And I think people are interested in that because I'm not like your generic CNN host or Fox News host that's never been to prison asking questions. I have been in their shoes, so we relate and we form that bond with the person. But overall, I'd rather not deal with the celebrities. A lot of times it's more work than not, you know, unless it's someone like Todd who's like, ask me whatever, you know,
No holds barred, anything you want.
Exactly, could do whatever. But a lot of people, this, that, I want an appearance fee, you know. It's like, come on. But the best ones are the ones you don't have to pay, like celebrity wise, you know?
What's up, guys? Real quick, I just want to let you know that Coffee Bean gave me an exclusive early taste of their new menu, and I've been trying to switch things up with my usual order, but especially with it getting hotter out, these ended up being a really good find. They just dropped their Coconut Creations lineup in time for the summer, and if you ever wanted to try a drink to feel a little more like a vacation, these are it. We are living in the timeline. Now is the time to try. It's available from June 3rd through August 18th, and everything's built around that smooth, creamy coconut flavor across different drinks. You can go with an iced coconut cream latte, a coconut ice blended drink, or an iced coconut cream matcha latte. Each one has that slightly sweet coconut flavor, but it's not too heavy and it feels so refreshing. Personally, I like the ice blended. It's perfect for the weather going on right now in California. But the coconut cream latte and the iced coconut cream matcha latte are just as good. It just depends on what palate you're feeling that day. So if you're looking to break out from your usual order for the summer, this is such an easy place to start. So head to your nearest Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf and get them before they're all gone. Do you ever get nervous having a shot caller or these really dangerous people who have gone to prison for serious time coming to your show and talking about these things, or the repercussions of them sharing your story or you being involved?
I actually think it's the opposite. They get nervous now to come to me. Like maybe in the beginning when I first started, I was nervous sitting down around them because I didn't know what was a question that was too far. But I think that also helped me because it made it authentic, because I didn't
You didn't push it too hard?
Well, I would ask questions that maybe someone from the outside would seem as disrespectful, but it was just me genuinely curious, you know, because I didn't know that life. Like I have an interview with a guy that was recruited to like the Aryan Brotherhood, and I'm just asking him like crazy questions from, you know, if you're in that life and, you know the kind of questions, but I was just curious, you know, I'd never seen anything or compared it to that. So it was just like genuine. But most people that come are now just nervous to talk to me because they look at me, you know, as like a celebrity in a way to like their eyes, you know. But a big part of the job is just disarming them, getting them comfortable, showing them around the studio, talking, having a drink, you know, chatting. I built like a prison set in my studio. So they'll come upstairs and they'll see the studio, and we have a bunch of snacks and a fridge and all of that. So that's 90% of the battle, you know. Once you get them in the seat and they're ready to roll, then they do all of the work. I barely have to ask questions for the best guests, you know. A lot of the time it's guest driven. Like I did a true crime episode the other day with a detective. He went for 3.5 hours just telling the story of a case.
And you barely have to chime in.
Yeah, barely have. Those are the best episodes, at least in my world, you know, in my genre.
Who do you get nervous for talking to?
I always got nervous a little bit with like the celebrities.
Really?
You know, in the beginning, yeah, like meeting, because those are the people I think you dream of having on the show.
Not even a dirty cop, somebody who's involved with law now.
Because I think they've waited 3 months to get on the show. I don't think they're there to hurt me.
They're so jazzed to just share whatever happened.
They're excited. Yeah, they come in, they bring gifts. Like I have all these shelves of just gifts that people have brought. It's so cool. Like people are just like excited. They see what other guests have brought and they want to like one up it. And
what are the gifts on there? Like what are the examples?
so like law enforcement will do like the challenge coins. So I have a whole like shelf of challenge coins. People will bring a lot of like liquor bottles or.
Do you get PBA cards?
I've gotten a couple from some New York guests. I have like a couple in my car. Not as many as you'd think I'd get, but like all these law enforcement people know everyone. If I get pulled over, like they'll recognize, because of that state trooper one I just did in Connecticut. A lot of state troopers now know of me, or they watch the show. We get a lot of law enforcement. When I go through the airport, TSA will always stop me every time, just saying, "Hey, you're the kid," you know, like I watch the show. And doing Mr. Beast has helped a lot too.
What's the aftermath of being on Mr. Beast, especially for something that is your niche? You're not doing a competition. You're in jail. This is your thing.
It's not as big as you expect. Like when the Mr. Beast video came out, I went up 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a lot. But when you compare it to the platform and the amount of views it gets, it's not a lot. And I think Instagram went up a few thousand, but you're not getting tagged in it, you know? I think what it does is, for me, like a lot of contestants, I think, don't have a following and they want that following boost. For me, I didn't go on there for the following.
What'd you go on for?
I went on there to pay off my restitution, you know, for the money aspect, which I was able to pay off most of it. I went, you know, I only owe 185,000 now.
And how much did you win?
I won 240,000.
After taxes?
No. He doesn't take the taxes out. So you get hit with a hefty tax bill. But I paid 150 towards my restitution last year.
Incredible.
But the other thing was just, you know, recognition. So like the prison content community space is not necessarily taken seriously, especially in the media or the advertising world or anything. But I think it helped me being in a Mr. Beast video gave me credibility in the industry, you know? I was able to like get an agent a couple months after and just it's something to use to get in the door with people. Hey, I was on Mr. Beast or I've worked with Mr. Beast and stuff like that because their vetting process is insane too, you know? And I was one of probably like the only felon to like be on a show. You know, maybe there's a couple others, but for the most part, and to be on a platform like that was big. And then I got to go to Beastland in Saudi Arabia in December, which was a cool experience. But just working with them was incredible. But sometimes I'll get people and they're like, "Oh, you built your platform from Mr. Beast." It's like, no,
They don't know.
it was the opposite. They don't know, you know. I'll get introduced to people and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, Mr. Beast got him this whole platform." But it's very rare that I think the one exception was like Maj, who did the weight loss challenge from Mr. Beast. He blew up from Mr. Beast, but now he's in all like the videos and stuff with him. But you look at even like the Beast Game winners and stuff. For a show that's viewed millions or hundreds of millions of times, it doesn't really translate over.
It doesn't.
And also, it's not like it's their content, you know. Mine was probably one of the few videos where the content, like you were just saying, matched the video. Like I went in as a prison creator. And I got some clips that went viral after that, like how to make a prison cheesecake and stuff, but it's nothing different than what I was already doing before.
Do you get publications writing about your podcasts?
Not really. Like I had a couple, like I'd had New York Post did articles on the cat burglar, which was a big blowout episode for me.
Was that a big article before though? Like were they piggybacking off the crime that blew up when it happened?
So yeah, so she went viral for her crime, and then I was like the first podcast she did, and it went viral.
That's a good get.
Like
How do you get her?
She had either reached out or someone connected me to her, or I followed her on Instagram, or it was TikTok. We connected, and I got her first. And it's at like 400,000, 500,000 views on YouTube, but the clips did like 10, 12 million views. So I got an article by the New York Post written on that. And then New York Post did an article when I did Bobby Shmurda. Now, Bobby Shmurda was unique because he's been on plenty of platforms. He did Vlad, he did all of these, but then didn't do much. But I got, I guess, a different side of him out in that. And that did like 1 million streams on Spotify.
Did you approach that in a different way intentionally to try and get him?
No, I mean, I wanted him on the show because he went to prison.
But I mean, the way that you talked to him and how he came off on your podcast.
I just treated him like I treat all my other, guests.
Your regular approach.
Yeah, and if anything, that was harder because he was drunk and then high during the interview. He had to smoke in the interview to sober up, and we did it at 12:30 at night. I'm exhausted from a red eye from California the night before.
Was he late?
Oh yeah, we were scheduled for like 5 o'clock, and he came at 12:30, and then he had a show in Danbury where last call was 1:30. He got there at like 1:40. Nonetheless, the guy performed well for me. Like he did really well. He told a story, did what he had to do. Max B was another great one too. That was a really good one. Max B's a great guy, professional, and I was like his third interview. And I'm still, I think, like the only one that just focused on prison. Like some of these rappers will do the big podcasts, like
No
Fat
Jumpers.
Joe, No Jumper, Vlad, or whatever. But mine just focuses on different. I don't care I don't care about the beef with so and so or this rapper's issues. Like it's not about that. Most of the time I don't even know what it is or who they're talking about because I'm not in that world. But I'm just kind of straying away from the celebrities now, unless there's one that genuinely wants to come on and likes the show. I mean, that's how I met like Gianni. Gianni followed me on TikTok and I DM'd him and I'm like, hey, we watched Power in prison. Like I love Power. Would you want to come on the show? And we talked about that. And
Are you doing him?
I already interviewed him a couple of years ago. Yeah, and we talked about how we'd smuggle in SD cards to watch Power. That's how I first found out about it. Then come to find out, like some of the writers follow me on Instagram, and because it's similar worlds, and some of the actors from Power and stuff. I had what's her name that plays Tommy's mom, Tommy Egan's mom, Patricia Callenber, lives right down the road from us. So it was great to meet her. So things of that nature were really interesting.
When you get Chris Lee, a celebrity, is he going to Connecticut for you?
No, most of the time you have to go to them.
Oh, where'd you go for that one?
I went to Tennessee. So the deal was like I would go to him and then I would go on his podcast, and then I also lined it up with his son, Chase, and we promoted their seltzers that he just launched.
So it
And
was a
then,
win-win for everything.
yeah, and then I went on Savannah's show, and Savannah went on mine. And Savannah doesn't really go on too many pods. So it was great. They're genuine people. Like me and Todd will talk still on Instagram, and he did a great interview. And that's also the perk of getting someone that hasn't done a million interviews. You get more out of them.
My golden goose was Justin Burfield, who plays Reese on Malcolm in the Middle.
Mm-hmm.
Never done a podcast in his life. The Malcolm in the Middle show revival comes back, and I'm his first interview in 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years. And he was the fan favorite on the show. He was my favorite. Growing up, I wanted him like as my friend, my brother.
Yeah.
So when he came in and I was just talking to him, I felt like I grew up with him. I never look at my phone really, but didn't look at my phone once. Everything was just so natural, and he was so honest and open.
Even Frankie Muniz, like that was a big one for you.
That was crazy.
Had he done anything recently?
At that time, he's done like a couple podcasts, but I think these other podcasts, when they get a certain people, they don't really know the angle to push it into where it will work on social media. And even early on, I would get a little nervous diving into something with somebody who I want to know, but I wasn't really comfortable asking right away.
Mm-hmm.
So I would kind of beat around a little bit. I think with Frankie, I was a fan. I knew exactly what I wanted to talk to him about.
Mm-hmm.
I knew exactly his hits and what other kids like me wanted to hear about.
And I think it's all about driving with the guest too. And it's like in a setting like this, it's more comfortable. When you go to, like I say, a large production, there's a big team, or just even general, like basic news. There's always a big team, and you don't form that relationship with the host too.
You get your parking validated.
Yeah, so many people say, like when they go on like those big talk shows, they don't even get any interaction. Who's like Dr. Phil and stuff. I've interviewed people that have been on Dr. Phil. They're like, yeah, we never got to talk to him or anything.
It's just on the 5 minutes while they're recording.
Yeah, you're thrown out there, So you're not having that relationship.
It's hard to be open and honest. And I think that's why podcasts are so cool, because you get that raw, real conversation.
Yeah, and I think that less people are editing stuff and letting people be more organic. I mean, granted, they're still heavily edited podcasts, but I look at the best ones that are not like that. And that's why like someone like Rogan's successful, or like Theo Von or any of them. How many times are they making cuts to it? Probably not that many, unless like a guest specifically asked for it. But when I was editing for people, they always wanted like, oh, take out all the take this out,
Who are you editing for?
So
other podcasters?
Yeah, I would. When I first started doing my podcast, I had like clients too, because I learned how to edit, and then I would edit for some people. I did like the Mean Girls, and I helped do the clips for like Brittany Furlan and Brittany Schmidt and stuff for This Is the Worst podcast. And then I had like local clients that were like the problems with people that weren't like famous, that were just always asking to do every cut. Like we'd have clients that would come in, not the professionals, but like the regular people, and they're like, oh, cut the cut this, cut that. It's just a lot. You don't do any of that. People always look at me and they're like, it must be hard to edit 5 a week. And up until like 2 months ago, I did all my own editing. Then I shipped it off overseas. Now I'm editing it myself again.
You took it back on.
I took it back on.
How come?
A couple of reasons. One, I'm moving that money to hire employees that can do more stuff for us, like more content rather than just edit the podcast. And there's like little things that only you can fix. Like not every angle's the best every episode, or the sound, or also it doesn't make sense to pay someone to listen through and edit the whole podcast when I could throw it together, pull the clips. I found that no one could replicate the clips in the sense where they don't know what the best clips are. Whereas I could piece it together quick. No, I have to cut this, break, or put this together and this. And I know every spot where there's a clip. So after an episode now, I keep it in my notes because I record so many. I'll write down the clips that I need to clip from that episode. So it's not like I have to listen to the full 2-hour episode.
Oh, so when you're clipping, you have the notepad open with the timestamps.
Not the timestamps, just what the clip was, and I'll be able to find it in the story. So like, for example, person goes to prison. That'll be the note in my phone. And then I'll just find that spot in the story.
Do you ever clip horizontally?
Like widescreen?
Yeah, like a 3 or 10-minute story out of an interview?
So, I never did that on YouTube originally. I know that's a tactic on YouTube because I went to 2 or 3 episodes a week. And then by the time I was doing 3, I did try those wide form, but I feel like I was already putting out so much content anyways. Does that really make sense to do? You know, I know it is a thing, but I just didn't do it. And I don't think it worked for my channel because I'm already posting so much.
Interesting.
And then on Facebook, it doesn't really pay the wide. They want
No.
the vertical. There was a period of time where TikTok wanted widescreen. I don't know if
But
you
they didn't
remember
really
that.
push it that much.
Yeah, they said they were going to in extra views, but they didn't pay either way. They were pushing it, and then they like gave up on that. You know, remember they were doing like the flip the screen to watch the whole thing. So that was like a fad that ended very quickly. But I found too, like, you know, posting long stories. I love a good long story of you post a 10, 15-minute clip. People appreciate that. They
On
don't on
Instagram stories?
even on no, on like Snapchat. I'm not Snapchat, on TikTok or Facebook, where it's like a 15-minute clip of someone telling the whole story without interruption. Because you think in a
Oh.
world, you listen to a podcast, how many times does a person get interrupted? You know, even in a clip. So people appreciate that. Some of my best clips on TikTok are 10, 15-minute stories.
How often are you posting on Facebook? Because your Facebook growth is insane.
We were doing every 30 minutes for
Are you
one
still
point.
doing that?
No, so we're doing every 30 minutes, like dumping old content, right? Reposted content. Then like a week ago or whatever, views totally like tanked, like crazy tanked. The old stuff wasn't working. Then the Hell's Angels episode came out, and I was like, let's just go back to the basics, new content only. So I just posted his with the white text box, no captions, no edits. They got hundreds of thousands of views on every clip.
Oh, no captions even.
No captions. Now we're back to one every hour, new content only. So we do it in, you know, we'll do like the unedited clip with just the white text box, and then we do the B-roll clips too.
Are you doing the white text box?
Yeah, we have the white text box.
No,
on
are
it.
you physically?
Matt, who works with me, will he'll put it in TikTok and save it to the phone. We've tried it both ways. I know most podcasts don't even put a white text box, but I feel like in my genre, if it's a long story, it kind of shows what you're waiting for.
That's what keeps me hooked.
Yeah, I think you need it. Like we did have some luck without it, but I just think it's better with it. I like it with it, you know, because that shows the promise, especially when you're not editing fancy stuff to keep you hooked. But I never really liked the fancy stuff. I built my platform without the fancy stuff, like the B-roll and everything. And I'm going back towards getting rid of all of that because that's not the show. Because even if you get hooked on a B-roll clip, right? When you go to the episode, that's not what it is. Now, I've done some production changes, like I added in a third angle on the, so it's a second angle on the guest to give them a different view.
Do you like that?
It's all right, just to help with retention, I guess.
Oh, to break it up for the viewer.
Yeah, to break it up for
That's
the viewer.
the only reason you put that there.
Yeah. Why? What's your opinion on it?
I want to do like a wider one, but then for what purpose? It just makes a little more work for me. I think if I had a bigger studio, I would put 2 on me and 2 on the guest. That way it feels. But then that just adds so much more time for editing. And I think right now it's the volume game.
Yeah, it does add a lot for editing, but I mean, just the second angle on the guest, I don't know. Visually as a viewer, I don't know if it makes sense or what it is, you know, or just to switch it up with retention. But I also feel like it then goes back to the question, if it's a good episode, a good story, people are
going to tune in anyway.
Yeah, they're just going to run with it, you know? Does it really matter if it switches up or anything?
What was your biggest growth on Facebook? Because Facebook, I feel like, is pretty slept on.
Yeah, it's just been growing, you know, like it 30, 40,000
in a month
followers a month. Yeah, we're almost at 1 million. But I think what makes it special is that we're treating it like a blog. We'll do photo posts, we do text posts.
You
do
put your personal life on there.
That's what's made the difference. Like we've ran pages for other people, and it just posting clips, it doesn't work. You know, most big celebrities give up on kind of their Facebook. We've made it personal. We've responded to comments. We've done everything.
How personal are you? Like, are you going to post going out to dinner tonight?
Yeah, we'll post going to dinner. We post food. We post questions, comments. Like I'll do some questions or scenarios that'll get 500,000-600,000 views, you know, just all about engagement and posting. You know, we're going to put vlogs on there. We're going to do all these different things. So I think that helps a lot too.
How many people are part of your team?
So it's me, Matt, kind of came on full time when I left for Mr. Beast, because before I left for Mr. Beast, we stayed up for 48 hours straight editing all the episodes I had in the tank, because they had to all schedule when I was out, you know, out of commission, but he ran my socials. And then my brother used to be like my guest booker, like going through the lists. And then Brandon, who's Gianni's roommate, would do like celebrity outreach or bigger shows or bigger guests. Now my brother went off to school, so my girlfriend does like the booking, Letitia, and then Matt does social media and like content and kind of strategy in that sense. And then we just hired 2 people to bring on to help with like, I want to update all my thumbnails in my catalog.
Why?
That helps push the video back in the algorithm.
It actually does.
Yeah. So like I had this nurse video that was doing well at like 130,000 views, 140,000 views. Now it's over 200,000 views. That I changed the thumbnail.
And that was the direct correlation as to why
it went up like 48,000 views in a few days. The thumbnail actually works. Before I'd change the thumbnail, but it would be so similar. Now with these new thumbnails, changing titles, it repackages it.
with your new prompt.
Yeah, with my new prompt and putting that out there. So that's working. But Mr. Beast changes his thumbnails all the time. He has a lot smaller catalog than I do because I have hundreds of episodes, but yeah, I have already changed all my thumbnails probably twice, but the changes weren't that big before. It was like adding me onto the thumbnail or stuff like that. But it's this new one I think will have the best benefit.
When was your best month? Is it the current month that we're in? Like, are you on a constant?
Yeah, I mean, there's some months that are obviously slower than others. But YouTube was probably like last month was one of our best, or even when the Mr. Beast video came out, there was a lot of traction on the page. But it's like highest grossing month, like financially, like we've done like $120,000 in a month was like my highest month ever, which is crazy.
And how much does that cost though? What are you putting into clipping and hiring employees?
I mean, my overhead right now is like $55,000 a month, which is crazy, but it just costs a lot of money to operate, especially at the scale.
What is the biggest cost of that?
Probably payroll now. I mean, that includes my
employees.
salary too. I get a paycheck. I'm on salary now. We're structured that way. But yeah, payroll. Then you have, rent. Then you have editors. Then you just everything to put it out like that. You have travel. You have everything. It's a lot to operate at that level. Some days I wish I'm like, wow. I just wish, like it was back to the old days where limited expenses. But when you compare it. Those days you were only doing like $20,000 or $30,000, So maybe it's the same. It evens out and you're bringing on more things and there's larger growth potential. But also it's like when one site goes down, like say when TikTok revenue falls, Facebook picks up, or Facebook falls, Snapchat picks up.
Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like they're all in cahoots. I mean, YouTube is definitely the most consistent,
Yeah.
But like between Facebook and TikTok and Snap, they never all hit at once.
I'll get kicked out of Facebook's program and then TikTok will give me a new one.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like I remember there was one month when TikTok first switched their new program. I made like 15 grand. I haven't seen that in like 2 years. Now like a good month will be like 4 grand. A slow month will be like 600. Ever since that the American companies bought it, it's drastically different. I use TikTok to build my podcast because I was able to post organic clips and people would go and search the episode. They would see like the mic boxes. They were dedicated to search for it.
Should I get a mic box?
100% with your name on your show. Because if a clip goes viral, it says like the JOE VULPIS show.
The square one?
Yeah, the square one to put
Not
that
the
right
little
in.
circle on the bottom.
No. You want the nice square with your name or the name of the show, big, bold letters.
If I did JVP, doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do
Full
it.
name.
You need the name of the show on there so people could search it, or just your name. It doesn't even have to say show. It could just say your name.
Right.
Like Ian Bick, whatever. So back in the day, you could post TikToks and grow your show. I think it's harder now than ever to start a podcast to get the views you need because Spotify or Apple doesn't really have like an algorithm.
There's no explore feature.
Yeah,
on
it's
there.
not like YouTube. I mean, they have the clip feature on Spotify and stuff, but when you look at the data on the clips to conversion, it's low. Maybe you get 100 followers or whatever. It's not that much. YouTube has a great explore program, but TikTok is just not what it used to be. Granted, once in a blue moon, maybe once a month, I'll have a clip go dumb viral and people say, where's the episode? And it translates. Like the nurse I was just telling you about, that episode blew up and that was outside of my niche, but it blew up because one of her clips went viral. And now it's blowing up even more because I changed the thumbnail. But it just, it's not what it used to be. It's definitely harder than ever.
Is Snapchat doing well for you?
It's starting to. So Snapchat, like a year, nothing. Then I got into their program where they used to pay like $1,000 flat every month if you hit a certain thing. Now they've changed their program. Now we're doing about $100 to $200 a day
On Spotlight.
on Spotlight. So this
And
is
how often are you posting?
we're just dumping like 30, 40 clips a day right now.
New ones or
Old, everything. I found, and the research shows it too, that you could repost old clips and it doesn't hurt. I've posted some clips that get more views every time you post it.
how many days apart?
Maybe a couple weeks.
Oh, okay. So you won't post something from Monday today.
No, I mean, you probably could. I mean, I'll do different versions of the clip too, like an edited versus unedited, but we just dump clips and that's what's getting us more revenue. Like I had my highest day the other day was like $300. We've made like $4,000 the past month.
Are
off of
you doing that
Snapchat.
or is your...
No, Matt will do that. Cause it's a lot to maintain. Cause you got to think I'm recording one, like today I recorded 2 episodes and then came here.
For your podcast?
Mhm.
Who'd you record?
I recorded Matt Boyer part 2 with him. He was the Oshani, what is that? Ote Oshani or whatever his name is, the baseball players.
Oh, Shohei Ohtani?
Shohei Ohtani, yeah.
You filmed with him?
No, not Shohei.
The criminal guy?
Yeah, the criminal guy. Yeah, I did a part 1. He just got out of prison, so I did that. And then this other woman named Jordy who went viral. She was an inmate. She went viral a few months ago when she got out of prison. So I was her first podcast. So we filmed there at where Gianni films his podcast.
Would the guy who got arrested with Shohei, what'd he say?
We talked, the first one we talked about like that whole case. That was
before he went to jail.
Yeah. Now we talked about prison, casino type stuff, things of that nature. So I recorded for 4 hours today.
Was he guilty?
Yeah, he admits he's guilty. Yeah. Well, he was the guy that took the bets from the guy that ripped off Shohei. But he was in trouble for like sports betting illegally and stuff.
So he wasn't the translator of Shohei?
He wasn't the translator. No. He was the guy that took the bet from the translator. But that whole case is what exposed it all. So I did that. But some days some weeks I'm recording 1 every day or 2 every day. It's a lot, you know? Like it just, and you're trying to catch up with texts and emails and it's a lot. It's just a lot to record at that. And a lot of these episodes are long too.
I try
2-3 hours.
I try and finish the gym and showered by 9, and then I have 2 hours to edit. And I normally do podcasts at 11 a.m. And then from 11, if the podcast goes from 11 to 1, I'm kind of like fried for the day, and I could barely get shorts up. And then at that point, I have to export the full podcast, and then it doesn't get up till 5, and then it's late, and I'm like, oh, should I just wait till tomorrow? And then I want to go for a walk, and it takes so much time.
Do you have a back catalog of episodes or?
I'm sitting on like 4 that I need to post.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Reality stars, musicians.
So it'll get easier once you build up that catalog more too. Like I'm about like a month out right now.
That's how many you have stocked up?
Yeah, for 5 episodes a week, I'm about a month out.
So you have like 20 stocked up?
Yeah, give or take.
I used to be like that when I was doing food videos.
Yeah.
I was doing 3 a week, and I was set up. I think at one point I was set up for like 3 months.
That's the way to do it. When I got back from Mr. Beast, I had no catalog, so I'm rushing, and then there'd be days I'd I'd record one day, and it would come out that night or the next day. That's a lot. It's no way to live. You know,
It's not.
Down
Not
to
for
the
a happy
wire.
life.
Yeah, exactly. So now at least I have space. Like I won't rebook something or look to find a guest fast if someone cancels. I'll just take the day off from recording. But you're always editing. You're always doing something. This isn't a job where you just have a day off, you know? But like next week we're going to Florida for vacation. So
Are you recording anyone there?
no, so I'm not recording. I'm just relaxing.
What do you get Palm Beach Pete?
Oh, who's that?
The guy that looks like Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Might have to change my mind then. But you know, something like that, I'm hustling this week to get all those episodes edited.
What kind of criminal would spike your ears up that you have to do this interview with them and you put them at the top of the list?
It just has to be unique. Like maybe even their look, or like if it's like a cop that went to prison, you know? And I'm also...
Are those rare to find?
Nah, you get a good amount, a corrupt cop, you know? People love the corrupt stories. Like I did this NYPD one that was 5 hours long, and it's one of my top episodes right now.
5 hours?
Yeah, he just talked the whole time. He went undercover to expose corruption, and then he got arrested and went to Rikers. People love the Riker stories. So, you know, I want to move away from like Connecticut and New York, but it's like I get those.
Is that your demo?
Yeah, I mean,
Like-
I get a lot of Rikers stories, you know? There's no major podcaster in Connecticut. So I have that kind of like on lock, you know, or even crime podcast or anything. You have some in Austin, you have some in Florida, California, but not out there. So I kind of have that. But yeah, corrupt cop ones, biker ones do well. Anyone that did a really long prison sentence. Like I had a guy yesterday that was like a mob guy, went to prison for mob murders. You know, we did like a 2-hour interview. He's never been on a podcast. He has news articles, archival. That'll be a good one. The girl I did today is going to be a good one. I'll always prioritize someone that hasn't done a bunch of pods that has a great story. It's just really good.
What story did you hear really blew your mind about how a corrupt prison system was?
I would say like the corrupt cop ones when they talk about like quotas or
When they have to get arrests?
yeah, when they're forced to get arrested, those clips kind of like always go viral.
Is that more often than you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's split 50-50. You have some cops that say there's no such thing as quotas, everything's good. And then some cops that say like the system's fucked, and it is corrupt and it's unfair. I think you hear about the cases too where like, people have thrown money at something and they've gotten less time, or even the pardons, like I've interviewed a lot of guys that have gotten pardoned by Trump, and you compare that to other people that have done less or done worse, and they don't get the pardon or that opportunity just because they're not connected,
And those only happen because they have one kind of connection to Trump to where he can.
Yeah, or not even Trump, just in general, any type of president, where they've gotten pardoned. But I think there's definitely an uneven money aspect to it.
Do you think that you were wrongfully targeted for your crime while you went to jail?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I should have got 3 years in prison.
When I heard what you did, I feel like there's a lot of people in Los Angeles that do kind of the same thing.
Yeah, oh, there's way worse. And also I look at like sex offenders in Connecticut are getting 3 years, 2 years for shit. And then what bugs the shit out of me is someone will drunk drive, kill someone, and get 2 years in prison.
They only get 2 years.
For manslaughter,
And what was your crime exactly? What did they get you?
For money laundering and wire fraud, I got 3 years.
For $450,000.
500,000, yeah. But mine was like I went to trial and I maintained it was an accident. I made stupid decisions. I was ignorant, but I didn't have any ill intent. There's people that will legitimately try to scam you, in this world. I've met people like that. I've had those types of people on my show. Those people are not remorseful. They don't care about making restitution or whatever. My case wasn't like that. It was an accident. I didn't mean to harm anyone. That's why I'm paying the restitution, If I wanted to duck restitution, there's plenty of ways to do it.
What is your restitution? The exact amount? 450?
It was like 485, 495.
And is that you paying back the people who you took the money from?
Yeah, that lost money. They're out of pocket.
And that do you directly send that money to them from your account?
No, you send it to the government. They like sit on it for months or whatever.
And then it goes to the people.
Yeah, and then it goes to the people, and I'm at the minimum I have to pay is $1,000 a month.
For the next 180 months that you owe?
Well, until it's all paid off. But yeah, 180 is what it's at now. But if I'll pay more, like my goal is to have it paid off for the next couple of years. If I didn't get such a large tax bill last year, because the restitution's not tax deductible. So that 150 grand I paid to restitution last year, plus any other payments, I think I paid like 170 last year, right? I owe taxes on that money.
You owe taxes on the $170,000 that you owe to people?
Yeah.
So what does that go to? Like 210?
It made it. My tax bill last year was I'm paying 100 and between state and federal, I'm paying like 130,000 in taxes last year. On top of the 100, so that I would have been better off not paying restitution.
And how do you get away with that? You just say you're not paying it?
I mean, they'd still come after you. It's not the right thing to do, and they'll find if you have the money, they will come after you. But I mean, my plan was to pay the restitution.
Did you ever interview the cops that arrested you?
I'd love to. Yeah, I think that would be cool.
That'd be a crazy interview.
They might still be working. Like the prosecutor still hates me on the case, and there's no need to. But I've crossed paths with a lot of people that know those people and stuff. It'll only be a matter of time. The judge on my case passed away. He got cancer. He was young too. It would have been great. I was thinking about sending him a letter like last year, and then I found out he passed away.
On the scale of what you could have done, where was it? Were you pushed to the maximum penalty or?
No, I mean, after trial, I was facing like 7 to 12 years. And we were asking for 0 home confinement. So the judge gave 3 and then 1 year home confinement.
Home confinement is house arrest.
Yeah, like ankle monitor and stuff.
You had the ankle monitor on?
Yeah, for a year. But half of it was during COVID. So everyone was locked down.
Oh.
But like you wear sweatpants over at the gym and, now
you're allowed to go to the gym though.
Yeah, you have to like put in passes and stuff. There's ways to like navigate it. You say you're at work when you're not really at work. You put in your schedule and stuff. But it was. I just think it was unfair. Overall. But it was also the best thing that could ever happen to me, and I'm past that point in my life. Like I got out of prison 7 years ago.
You've really turned it all around.
I worked at Whole Foods for 3 years when I got out of prison.
What department?
Prepared foods. I worked my way up from a hot bar cook making $15 an hour, which is minimum wage at Whole Foods, to making $33 an hour by the time I left.
To what department is that?
Prepared foods. I was the manager. I just hustled. I rebuilt my life doing that. You know, I got a job, rebuilt my credit, got a car, got a girlfriend at the time, a dog, an apartment, all of these things, insurance. And then I quit and maxed out my credit cards to build the podcast. And then I was driving DoorDash, doing Uber Eats, did OnlyFans for a little bit.
How much do you max out your credit cards to?
30 grand.
That was what you needed to start your podcast?
I lived off of that because I wasn't bringing in any money. I had no paycheck, but I had bills, apartment, restitution, this, that, you know. So that's what I did to start it.
As a former Whole Foods employee, what is the best cake at Whole Foods?
Ooh, no, it's not cake. It's, all right, cake-wise, it's tiramisu.
Really?
It's so good, and they don't make it there. But it comes in these sheets. Oh, I could eat
Don't
a whole
all of
sheet.
them?
Yeah, they don't make anything. And even the bread is not, it comes in frozen. They bake it in the oven.
They don't even have the room for it, so.
Yeah, nothing's made fresh. But the tiramisu is so good. But also, it's not going to be the same in every Whole Foods because that one came from a specific vendor. Like, they have different vendors in different, areas. But the brown butter cookie is the best cookie I've ever had in my life.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if that brand goes all across, but at least on the East Coast, the brown butter cookie was amazing.
I will have to check this out.
Are you a Whole Foods guy?
I tried all of their cakes just for my food series videos, and
Oh, so what's your favorite
the
cake
brown butter cookie cake.
Oh, I didn't know they had a brown butter cookie cake.
I think that's what it is. It has like caramel and there's chocolate chip cookies on top.
See, I've never had that.
That one's
so
wild.
It's probably good. I know my parents like the carrot cake there.
That one's fine.
Yeah, but I really like the tiramisu. It was just so creamy but it also it had to do with where they got it from, you know.
Mhm.
But most restaurants and stuff get their stuff frozen and tiramisu and all of that.
You mentioned earlier that you smuggled SD cards into prison.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
So those I didn't smuggle in myself. We would buy them from people. But when I got to the actual camp, we would smuggle in like cell phones and food, and you run through the woods. So I was one of the runners, right? So
What does that mean to the camp?
There's at the federal prison camp. The low is where I had the SD cards, or where we were watching. And
Low
stuff.
security?
Low security. You're surrounded by a fence. Guys would get it in through guards, or now people use drones. At the camp, it's minimum security. That's what they call a club fed, right? Where like the celebrities go and everything.
The light sentencing.
Yeah, the light sentencing. I mean, you have up to 10 years on your sentence. So there's no fence. And what you would do is, you have someone keep lookout with a phone, a contraband phone, and you have a phone and you go like to the edge of the track and you run through the woods.
That was your job.
That was everyone did it. Some guys would actually leave the grounds, right? Hop in a car with their girlfriend or wife, go to the hotel down the road or their motel and hook up with them and then get back before it was like count time or whatever. And that's why you have the lookout. But me, I never left the grounds. I just went out of bounds, but still on the prison grounds, and people would drop off a bag there, and the bag would have like McDonald's or deep dish pizza or Portillo's from Chicago.
So you were smuggling Portillo's into prison?
Yeah, that was my first ever Italian roast beef sandwich with the hot giardiniera.
Is it better in prison?
Yeah, I'd think so. It's the hot giardiniera is so good. Anything's better in prison. One night we had trays of taco meats. And we had a whole line of like a taco buffet and make your own taco station. You got protein powder. You got everything. It's crazy.
There's no guards on towers doing lookout?
Not at the camp. There's one guard for 200 inmates. And then you have your lookout in case like guards rush the place to do an emergency count. But even then, when they call an emergency count, it takes you 20 minutes to start the count. You're back by that point,
Are you nervous your first time you're doing it?
Oh, yeah. The very first time I ran outside the woods, I lost the bags. So
It fell out of your hand?
No, so I run through the woods. It's snowy. It's in Wisconsin. It's in winter. So there's a lot of snow on the ground. And I go by myself. And I go the road, grab the bags, I make it about halfway, and the phone starts. I have the phone in my hand because I'm like paranoid. Because if it rings, it's only one reason why it's ringing. You got to get your ass back. So it starts ringing. I answer, and he's like, "Get back, emergency count!" Right? Guards are coming. So I drop the bags and book it. Like fuck the bags. Run, get to the camp. Turns out it was just a guard coming to hang out. They thought it was a emergency count, but he just came to hang out. So I run back, get there, and then the guys that paid me $200 or whatever, which is not a lot of money, risking your, getting in trouble for it. But I like the adrenaline rush. They were like, you got to find the bags. So I went back out for 2 days after. I eventually found the bags, and it was cold out, so the food stayed fresh. But they also screwed me because they said it was one bag, and it turned out to be like 3 giant heavy bags of stuff, you know? But it was good. People would bring in bags in all the time. It was like, you remember in
The movie Heavyweights?
Longest Yard, where they're passing out the black guys passing out the cheeseburgers. That's what it was like at camp. When a bag comes in, you're passing it out to everyone, the head orderly and stuff, so no one's snitching. If everyone gets something out of the bag, no one's going to tell on you.
Did you, when you were going into prison, did you consider, I have to take steroids, I have to bulk up, I have to figure out how to protect myself in there?
Not really. I lost a lot of weight in prison. And I don't even know if there's steroids. I did like protein powder, and then there was like what's it called? Like the protein bars and stuff. And I worked out a lot for the first time, like actually lifted, got into a routine.
Did you hang out with the different groups of people?
Yeah, I got along with everyone. I mean, at the low, I had a bad experience. People like tried to extort me. They thought I was a chomo, like with the glasses, like a sex offender and stuff. But for the most part, I got along with people. We played cards. I loved to gamble in prison.
Are you allowed to hang out with the other races?
Yeah. It was a low security, or there wasn't politics like that. You're supposed to ride with like the state or the territory you came from, like all the New Yorkers ride together. But otherwise you're with like you're friendly with everyone. You just don't want to hang out with like the sex offenders.
They're in their own section.
Yeah, if you're a sex offender, that's bad news. You don't want any part in that.
How are you passing time? Are you watching TV shows? Is there a community TV?
Yeah, there's TV rooms that'll have like 4 or 5 TVs. One will be like the Spanish TV, one's sports, one's like the movie channel, one's something else. Guys love watching like prison related shows like Cops or Love After Lockup or those other like hip hop R&B type shows.
Power.
Power, that's where we learned about Power in prison. We loved watching Power. Which is crazy, you know, you like a guy like Gianni who plays Braden, watching him on the screen and then years later becoming friends with him in real life is just, you know, crazy. That was my favorite show. That still to this day is my favorite show. But I loved Nemesis. I don't know if you've seen it yet. It just came out on Netflix. Knowing you were probably at the premiere for it. You go to the premiere for everything, man. Man gets more samples than anyone I've ever met. You're crushing it, man. It's so cool.
What is the Nemesis show about? Is it a prison thing?
Kind of. It's about, you watch Den of Thieves?
Yeah,
it's
love
like,
that movie.
Yes, so it's Den of Thieves meets Power.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. It's by the creators of, Courtney Kemp wrote it, the same one as Power.
I'll check it out.
So good. It leaves you on a cliffhanger at the end. They got to do a season 2.
Okay.
But it's like 8 episodes and they were like an hour. It's literally like Power. You know, it's about a cop going up against this guy that's running a team kind of like Den of Thieves. Kind of gives you that 50 Cent antagonist type vibes. And then they become people that they're not. It's really, really good. You got to watch it.
What show or movie is most like low security prison that you went to?
Orange is the New Black.
Kind of the inmates can kind of do their own thing.
Yeah, Orange is the New Black is the closest you're going to get to a prison camp.
Did you watch that in prison?
I watched it before I went to prison, and then I watched it on a contraband phone on my bunk to catch up. Didn't really like the last season. They kind of played it out too far, you know? I'd love to have like Piper Kerman on my show. And even, you know, the actress, she was just in the news too with the orange hair because they said she was like doing drugs on the plane or whatever. The Russian girl, I forgot what her name is. That's big in it. But she would be great too because she has an addiction story. But yeah, I'd be on my bunk watching either Power or Orange is the New Black, catching up with that.
Who was your roommate in prison?
I had a bunch. I had different bunk mates. I had a big jacked Asian dude.
Do you feel safe with a guy like that?
Yeah, that was open rooms. I mean, I always kind of felt safe sleeping in prison. I think you don't feel safe, at least for me, when you're in like a solitary or like in the detention centers where you're locked in with a complete random stranger, you know?
What's the difference? Because you have an open door so you can walk out?
Mm-hmm. So like the 12-man rooms, 12 bunks.
Oh, there are a bunch of people.
Yeah,
in there.
6 bunks, bunch of rooms. You can have more flexibility. Like at the camp, there were cubes. You can walk wherever in the building, you know, roam around, go to the TV room at night. We'd play cards, play blackjack, light spades. Love spades.
Are you in prison with any serial killers?
No, I mean, there might be murderers like at the low, but normally Fed crimes aren't really murders. Those are state charges, but people like work their way down or they're
finishing their
charges.
sentence.
Yeah, exactly. You're there with a lot of sex offenders, rapists, things of that nature, a lot of white collar, a lot of drug cases. But there will be the people there that might have been convicted of murder in the state or things of that nature. I don't think I've ever encountered serial killers. I was with Teresa Giudice's husband
Joe,
at Fort Dix. I was with Apollo.
is that how you got her?
No, I just told her the story though. I was like, Teresa, we met years ago in the visiting room. You came to visit, and she went to Danbury Prison, where Orange Is the New Black's based off of, which is my hometown. It was such a big ordeal with that.
Did the town want that?
Town want what?
Did the town want a Netflix show based around Danbury Prison?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, I don't even think the town really, commented on it. They'll do like weird bits and pieces. They made a big thing about Teresa though. Yeah.
Coming there?
Yeah, going to prison, going to the diner before she got self-surrendered, any type of celebrity that goes there. So that was interesting. And then George Papadopoulos, I was in prison with from Trump's team, that he was like the first guy that got convicted. And we were trying to send pictures of him to TMZ to sell. But he was only there for 14 days. Yeah.
Did they ever get the offer?
No, we didn't have enough time. We were like negotiating. And by that point, he was old news. And then when Steve Bannon went to prison, I was already out because this was like last year or 2 years ago. CNN invited me on their show, and they had me outside the prison giving commentary of what his first day was going to be like. Then they invited me to their studio, but then Joe Biden dropped out of the election, and Steve Bannon was old news.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, so I didn't get to go to CNN.
What does it do? What does it do for your psyche when you get out of prison and now you're reassimilating into society? Do you have a problem with it?
It's hard, I think, especially in like a small town like Danbury, where, a lot of people know you or know of you.
Were you a celebrity at that point?
Yeah, I mean, like a local, well-known people know me in Danbury.
Because I'm sure there's not many crazy arrests like yours.
Yeah, I think at that point, like my reputation was like bad in Danbury, because people only heard one side of the story, which is the news. I think my reputation started to change like when the HBO Max documentary came out, because that showed, I did a long interview with them, and it showed the whole story about like overzealous prosecutors, and it was really an accident. Everything that happened, nothing was intentional. So that changed people's minds. And then just creating my brand. And I have a lot of people from Denver that watch the show. They'll say hi to me at the gas station, or they'll approach me, or they'll come up to me, or at the gym. A lot of people are just like, they're confused. They're like, how do you make money from this?
From podcasting.
Yeah. How is this a business?
I can't believe your overhead.
The overhead's crazy. Yeah. The overhead's insane.
And that's every single month?
Yeah, it's only gotten higher like as we've added on. Now, obviously, some of those, the debt will decrease like when certain loans are paid off too. That includes like loans from like starting it or things of that nature.
Buying the equipment?
Buying equipment, or also like buying out partners I was involved with, or anything like that I've taken loans to help fund and build and scale the business.
Oh, you had partners with your podcast when you first started?
I did. It's a whole mess with all of that. Made a lot of bad business decisions, bringing people on things. I'll put it this way, I was very overly excited to try to get to that next level, realizing I didn't need to rush the process, and I could have just do it on my own. Every time I've like failed in life, I trusted the wrong people. So now it's just me running. I'm the sole owner of it, and I'm doing all the right things and treating it like a business in that sense. So I think the overhead will get to the point where it'll probably hover around like 40 grand, I think. But also keep in mind that's with my salary. So if I'm making, say my salary is $100K a year, that's a big chunk of that 40 grand a month, and that covers everything from like cars to insurance to everything, So it's not like it's 40 grand plus I need to figure out a way to make money too. I'm factoring in my salary into that.
Who are some of the guests that you have coming up that you're excited about?
I could tell you them, but you wouldn't know them.
But like a corrupt CIA?
So I actually just interviewed my first ever CIA officer the other day.
They're not allowed to talk.
No, they'll skirt the lines, but I think most of his story is how he became a CIA officer, which was interesting. Then we got to like some cool techniques about interviewing and stuff. But when it came to like where he was stationed, you don't get any of that,
What do you think about John Kiriakou?
He's just everywhere. People say like you got to have him on the show and stuff.
Do you want him?
Not really. I mean, he's been on 9 million pods. What's it really going to do at this point?
I feel like you have such a good perspective for him, though.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it if he reaches out or whatever, or when things die down. I'd really love like that guy Scott Payne. He was the FBI agent that went undercover to bring down bikers. But I have a really good one that's going to come out next week. He was a corrupt NYPD cop that was actually like corrupt. That'll be good. And then he got sentenced to prison.
What did he do?
Um, he owned like barber shops, and which you're not supposed to do in like your precinct or whatever in your area. But then he rented his barber shop to like someone that was selling drugs out of it. So he was like covering for them and all of this stuff. So he was like half corrupt, half not, but what he was doing was like wrong. And then I got this guy, this FBI agent, he's done a couple pods already, but not massively. He brought down the real Sopranos. So he flipped the first made guy in the D. Cavalcante crime family, brought down the Sopranos, told stories about finding bodies and the Sopranos, all of this stuff. So that comes out next week too. I like all my episodes. You know, they're all good, even ones that don't perform as well. Like they're all unique and it's so different.
Have you had Michael Franzese?
No, we hit him up like a year or two ago, and his team was like, no. A lot of it I know is like their publicist, and it probably doesn't even make it to them.
Definitely doesn't make it to them.
And the publicists just roadblock it, you know? That's why having like a guy like Brandon's good, because he'll just nag them to get through. But it's like, come on, like I hate the celebrities that will promote, like make their brand about like addiction or overcoming addiction, this and that, and you won't do a prison type podcast, you know? So, but everything comes full circle. Their time will kind of maybe die out and they'll want to come on or whatever, you know, you never know how it's going to relate. But again, I'm not focused on the celebrities at this point. If I get some, great. You know, if one genuinely wants to sit down with me where you could become friendly with them, like a Todd, you know, that's beneficial. That's a great episode. But having to, you know, pay one or beg them to come on and they don't even really want to do it, or it's so scripted, you know, you can only talk about X, Y, and Z. I don't want to do that.
Have you had any guests who you were about to have and then they ended up going to jail?
No, I had one guest that backed out last minute. That was a big name, John Rowland. He was the governor of Connecticut that went to prison. He was like too afraid of the Connecticut local press or whatever. He backed out. And then I saw he got pardoned last year. So I reached out and I said, hey, I had George Santos and Todd Chrisley on who both got pardoned by Trump. He emails me back at 30 seconds saying, no, I'll pass. It's like, whatever. And he works, another example is he works in the prison ministry group. That's a great court. You're doing stuff in prison. Why don't you come on the show?
You had a warden?
Yeah, I've had wardens, and we actually just got a couple like really big ones with directors of certain prison like states and stuff that we're going to be doing. So I'm getting more into that realm, which is going to be big. And then another guy that I was going to mention was there's this one guy that we had on the show. He ended up getting arrested after for trying to stab court officers in New York.
It could have been you.
Yeah. So no, he got really worked up at the end. My dad had to calm him down because my dad will sit at the studio sometimes and watch. But yeah, we had to calm him down. He got really crazy, very like political and stuff. But yeah, then I saw that article that he did that. But you know, you're dealing with these types of individuals. But I give everyone the same opportunity and the same space to share their story, you know?
Is it weird being on the other end of the mic right now where you're doing most of the talking?
No, not really. I mean, it's a good break. It would be harder today, I think, to interview someone else. And I like talking about this kind of stuff. The podcast, the business, I don't really get to talk about it that much, you know?
In a perfect world, you have a great podcast. She told a great story. He told a great story. How many clips are you cutting from an hour and a half?
Really all depends. I mean,
let's say there's a lot.
I think it depends on the guest. So like, you have a guy that did like 30 years in prison, say it's a 2-hour interview. You might get a lot of clips out of that, like maybe 5 to 10, right? Because they're individual prison stories. Even like the Hells Angels guy, that was a story-driven podcast. I think I got like 12 clips, 14 clips on a 2.5-hour episode because he's telling a bunch of stories. But then another example is you get a guy like this guy this Sunday I got who's talking about how he got arrested and the sheriff raped him and abused him. 3-hour episode, I'm only pulling one clip. And that is his arrest, the rape itself, all in one clip. But that's like a 15-minute clip. So I'm pulling that. Then the rest of it is just like all the trials and tribulations he went through from that, and then suing him and going after him and everything like that.
Did he win?
Yeah, he settled with the state and it was proven, all of these things. But that, because this happened like the 80s. But those aren't really, I don't clip like motivational stuff. There's so much of that. I don't really clip like, it's just not, I don't know, it's just a feeling not to clip it, you know? But I will say like one of my best clips ever was something I didn't clip, which was like that butt ass guy I don't know if you remember that clip where the CO that dressed in like the pimp hat was saying, I walk in that cell and you know what I smell? Butt ass. And the guy was like tearing up, and I didn't clip that. I made it actually a horizontal clip, right? And then I was like, fuck it. I need another clip to post. I did it, and then it got like 30 million views on TikTok.
And then all those people went over and watched the podcast.
Yeah, that's at like 700,000 views on YouTube. That's like an iconic one. And then I had him on. He was my most reoccurring guest because he'd bring like props and he was funny. I've done like 6 or 7 episodes, but then it got to the point where it's like fake kind of, and I also don't want to keep interviewing the same. Like I'll very rarely do a part 2 unless they have a lot of good stories or a lot to say. I'd rather do a 5-hour interview than do a part 2 with the person.
Do you take breaks in between?
Sometimes, like if the guest is going and I have to pee, I'm letting them go. I don't interrupt it. I'll wait for them to stop. And my old SD cards that only recorded for 2.5 hours. Now I got the 5-hour ones, so we could go all the way through if we need to. But yeah, if I won't stop unless the guest wants to stop for a break, and then I'll use that as an opportunity to pee.
Are you interviewing anyone tomorrow?
We fly back tomorrow. This is a quick trip, in and out. But I'm here again in June for like a week at the end of June, so we'll have to get together.
Yeah. Are you interviewing people then?
Yeah. I'll do some interviews.
Celebrities?
No celebrities. We're kind of dry right now on the celebrities. I mean, we're doing someone from Baywatch that Brandon got. But
were they in jail?
Yeah, they had like a prison arrest story. His story was really interesting. And Baywatch is like such an iconic thing. But
that was the most watched TV show of all time.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Leave it to you.
Around the entire world.
Yeah, I was a big Baywatch fan growing up.
It was syndicated in every country, and something about like a billion something.
We've tried doing like actors that have played people that went to prison and stuff. It just doesn't really hit in that third perspective.
What about Sammy the Bull? Would you get him?
I would do him, but he's another one that's been on a ton of pods. You know, what are you getting the second time, you know, or whatever amount of time, you know? And also it's just like something, me personally, like I'm always just like looking at some of these guys. It's like you literally killed people and now you're out here bragging about like the people you killed.
Oh, they are.
I mean, like they built their platforms off of the people they killed, you know? But I know those people were in their life. I don't know. It's a tough thing, you know? But
have you ever had a serial killer?
Serial killer? No, I've had plenty of people that have killed people. Not like an actual, I mean, I feel like if you're a real serial killer, you're in prison, you know?
Yeah, but that's where you got to go.
Yeah. I mean, we're building connections and stuff, but the problem with interviewing people in prison is I feel like they are not as comfortable with revealing stuff because it affects their prison life. They don't want to speak ill of the prison or they're nervous. And you can't build down that comfortability wall with them, I think is the problem.
What do you think about that prison in South America
with the cages?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I interviewed a guy that like has visited those before. I actually did an interesting interview with a guy that builds prisons and like the cells and stuff. That did really well. It's at like almost 70,000 views on YouTube. So we're trying different things, you know? I think you got to switch it up, try new things, do different things.
What does somebody who builds prisons have to look for? Obviously escapes.
Yeah, well, it's fascinating what he said was that they build a prison off-site and they transport it like on a truck. So you might be on the highway one day and there's like a truck with a prison cell going there. But they're so nitpicky on like regulations and all of like small holes and what they can they break out of it, or you know, it's very strict in that sense.
Did you ever get anyone who escaped prison?
Yeah, I've interviewed multiple people that have escaped. I love Prison Break. I actually did Michael Rappaport's show and I had Sarah on, who played the nurse. She was a great interview too. I loved interviewing her.
What shocks you when you're interviewing people? At this point, you've done so many. You do 5 a week.
The prison stuff doesn't really shock me anymore. I think it's maybe more like, I don't know, maybe it's like the biker stories, stuff I'm not used to, or like a case. Like, I think those are really interesting when you know of a case that's famous or something, and you get to hear from, say, like the detective of the behind the scenes. That's what will leave me shocked, you know? Hearing that, you know, a high profile case that you've read about, you've heard one side, but then you hear the other perspective. But like the shower stabbings or the prison rapes or this and that doesn't, I've heard that all, you know?
If someone was new to your channel and they wanted that introductory episode, the gateway to to get everything, what would you tell them to watch?
I'll either say the Cat Burglar or the Hell's Angels one, like Pee Wee, because he was great.
That's the guy with the handlebar mustache?
Yep, he was great. And then also I did a good one with a corrupt FBI agent, Bob Lustig. He was really good too. But definitely the Cat Burglar, I always tell everyone, such a good episode.
That was a big story.
It was really big, yeah. She's done a few pods since, but yeah, she had the look at it, had all the components. Great speaker, great storyteller, likable, attractive, had the look, and good personality. And she was authentic. It just had all the things, you know?
Do you post on Twitter?
I do. It doesn't go anywhere.
Nothing, right?
Can't get ahead on X.
I can't figure it out.
I think it's just their video algorithm isn't good, and it's not good for new people starting out. It's
But
like,
other people clip my stuff and it does great.
yeah,
I'm like, why not me?
I don't know.
Mine.
I still post on it. Threads is okay too, but
Threads does fine.
yeah, but it's, you know.
Facebook will explode and then people will go over and they're like, I kept seeing it on Facebook. I had to come watch the full thing.
Mhm.
Obviously, same with YouTube Shorts. People are like, I just kept seeing it. I feel like I watched the whole thing already.
How many YouTube shorts do you post a day?
In a perfect world, like 12 or 15.
And
Or
do they perform well, or?
some do, some don't. Some you'll have a guess where every single one's a banger and some none will.
I feel like you just got to throw stuff out there and see what sticks.
But then I've had shorts hit 712 days later.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't think in the week or the month or even the 3 months. I think like the lifetime of the channel.
yeah,
Something will hit so far away.
yeah. I mean, you're doing your thing. I mean, there's so many big podcasts that they just don't have it figured out, especially with YouTube. Like how many, I'm not talking about like the A-list ones that are killing on YouTube and Spotify and Apple, but there's so many like companies, like how many Dear Media podcasts are out there that might be big on Apple or Spotify, but they can't grow for YouTube.
Yeah.
And they're just not putting that love or attention into it, you know? It just doesn't have that.
I think it's the set design too. Set design helps so much.
You think? I
Yeah.
mean, you come from that world too.
The
of
visual.
YouTube,
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes from, I almost considered myself more of a YouTuber who does interviews rather
Mhm.
than a podcaster.
Yeah, like I consider myself in a way a podcaster, but I don't treat it like the person, like the average podcast on YouTube, because I'm putting so much effort into changing titles, changing thumbnails, the back end stuff that a YouTuber will do. Whereas like your regular podcast that tries to throw stuff on YouTube, episode 102, the person's name, talks, whatever. They're not titling it right. It's the packaging.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the YouTube mindset comes in.
And the way that you interview too is something that you are trying to learn. You're not necessarily doing it for the audience, because if you're doing that, the audience doesn't really care.
Yeah.
You're genuinely curious about what's happening, which is why your podcast is so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's relatable to people, you know?
Yeah.
So it's got that interesting hook to it.
Right. Is there anything else that you think we haven't covered that would be cool?
No, I mean, I thought you did great. I mean, I have McLovin tattooed on me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I got
Wait.
Mr. Beast logo tattooed on me.
All right, was McLovin in prison?
That was my prison nickname.
McLovin.
Yeah. So I got McLovin there, and then I got the face portrait there. Everyone calls me McLovin. They say I look like McLovin.
Did you make any lifelong friends in there?
Yeah, I still talk to some this day. I went to one guy's wedding, and I had a few on my show. They're all just, you know, they're good people. Then the people that like try to pick on me and stuff, they'll message me in my DMs. Hey, I remember you from prison.
Oh,
you know?
man.
People are funny in that sense.
Was it hard finding a girlfriend afterwards, after prison?
No, people kind of like that. I remember going on like dating apps and stuff, and I had one girl that she was like, oh, my professor just presented about you in my criminal justice class. But people like that bad boy type vibe, but you got your stuff together. And now dating wasn't necessarily hard. Maybe hard in the sense, you know, getting introduced to the parents, they have to get over it. But the world is so much more different than it was even 7 years ago, you know? It's way more accepting now.
Very accepting.
Way different, you know? So it used to bother me before, now it doesn't. Now it's my biggest asset. You know, I get into doors, or I get through doors because I went to prison.
This has been awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was great to finally meet. We've talked
So
so
much.
much, you know, in the past like year.
Yeah.
So it's been really good to meet you.
Guys, go.
My girlfriend's a huge fan of you, so
That's awesome. Was she still here now, or?
yeah. I mean, I think her and Matt are outside somewhere. So
Guys, go subscribe to Locked In with Ian Bick. It's gonna be linked down below. And yeah, next time you're in LA, if you want to hang out.
yeah, no, we'll definitely hang out. At the end of June when I come back, we'll get together.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome.
See you
Thank you,
guys.
bro.
That was great.
Yeah, bro, you're awesome.